These are the 13 shots that you need to make amazing real estate videos. We started off very simple with the straight push. You wanna make sure that before you get a straight push that you're really ready to get the motion. You'll look at the back of your camera, you'll look at those grids, and make sure that all your straight lines are straight. You see how straight the pool is at the bottom? If your straight lines look straight, your video looks pristine, it looks expensive. Is it as simple as walking back to forth? It's not. And so on the back of your camera, you have a grid with an X. You can use that X to center the shot where you want the eyes to go. You can use that X to also track your shots, and you'll see that throughout the whole video. You see how the sun is at the center? That's where the X is. And then those grid lines allow you to have it so it's super straight. Once it's straight, commit to the shot, ninja walk, nice and smooth. If your video only has straight shots, there's not a lot to work with. You wanna give yourself some more motion. So if we look at this next one, you'll see what else is available. This is what we call the straight push curve. And so this is what the motion is gonna look like. Make sure that your lines are nice and straight, but you push in and then you curve with the wrist and commit to the curve. Does that make sense? Challenge that most people run into is when they curve, they're twisting too fast. It becomes like a 90-degree angle. And so you see in this video, it's pulling out nice and smooth. Pushing in and gentle on the wrist as it goes around. It's the wrist that causes the gimbal and the camera to turn, not the body. Using your wrist to slightly guide your camera to turn left or to turn right. The next clip is the orbiting clip. The reason why the orbiting clip looks so great is because you can make them mesh together. Not only can they mesh with another wide clip, but they can mesh with a detail. This is what the orbit looks like, coming in like this, and we do a spin. So if you were to see it from a bird's eye perspective, you're drawing a C with your feet and a little bit with your wrists. Once again, the motion should be very gentle on the wrist. And when you do this properly, you can take this shot, and one more shot, and you can sandwich them together. As you're shooting real estate, you wanna think, if I do a curve here, what other curve could I jump into? What room would it make sense to do with? Could it be a drone shot? But you wanna make sure that when you're shooting, that you're thinking for congruency for the edit. The next shot, what we like to call the yeehaw drop. The secret to getting a yeehaw drop is going into PTF mode, not FPV. I'm gonna push my camera up like this with the joystick. I then reach out really wide, like this, and I do a drop all the way down my legs like this. If you get one of these, you wanna get 2 more at least so that it can make sense in the edit. But you don't need 100 more. You don't need 10 more, 2. Every shot you should get is a 9 out of 10. Not a 6 out of 10, not a 5 out of 10, not an 8 out of 10. If you get shots that are 9 out of 10s every single time, then they're gonna mesh together really nicely. All right, let's go to the next shot. So this shot is the FPV, and I only suggest getting like 1 to 2 of these for a video. And it's also not for every video. The reason it makes sense in a house like this, which we were at yesterday, is because it's sexy. It looks really cool. However, let's say you're shooting a smaller house. Imagine you're in the kitchen and it's like an old Mediterranean kitchen. It just doesn't look right. This is a much more trendy, much more sexy move and should be used applicably. This one, it makes a lot of sense. All the reflections, the light, and once again, your energy at a shoot. Imagine the final edit. If it doesn't make sense for the final edit, it doesn't make sense to shoot it. The next shot, this is a shot that I really like, a PTF rise and drop. You can go any direction you want. You can start off straight, and this is what it looked like. I put the gimbal into PTF mode. I walk in straight, I start to push up with my wrist, and I might even do an orbit and then do a drop. I like when you change axis more than one time. The thing that makes this special is the orbit. So do you see how as we're going around the staircase, it's also orbiting? That's what makes it special. But this is something that you can do to show off height. The next clip, this one's really simple, but it's a straight push. What makes it special is the rise. So you start off on PTF, we're going in straight, we're rising up like that. That's what it would look like in real time. The next clip is a tripod. I love the tripod because it can really change the pace of a video. Tripod can be really great for matching these. Imagine the edit. If you have artwork in a house, it can look really great. Another thing that tripod can be great for is capturing textures of property, whether they be rocks, backsplash, wood. And so tripod is a really nice way to open a video, capture a feeling. Now this is one of those things that if you get 1 tripod shot, you have to get 3 more. Now imagine the final edit. You get these perfectly squared up, you do a slight zoom out. It makes a huge difference in a video. All right, so now we're gonna talk about detail shots. This is an orbiting detail shot. More precisely, correct is orbiting detail rise and drop. So you'll notice that the elevation changes. That's the form. Reach all the way up, brace your body like this, spring load the wrist so that when you're actually on the shot, it's nice and smooth. What makes the video look professional and expensive is a really good detail shot. Now this is the simplest detail shot. This is something you can master in 30 minutes. The next ones are a little bit more advanced. This one is called the cowboy lift. It's like the detail shot with the orbit, except it's lifting through the PTF on the gimbal. So you're on a 50 millimeter for this kind of shot. Keep in mind, it's a 50, so it's really tight. And you're like that. You're orbiting, you have a center point of focus, but the camera is going up. The foreground is what makes it look euphoric. You'll notice it's at the bottom and it's at the top in the beginning. The detail shot that has no foreground doesn't have a lot of emotion to it. This one is a little bit more challenging as well. It's a slider shot, so it's a detail slider. Now the reason why it's challenging is because you want to keep all your horizontals even. So do you notice how all these lines are straight? The ovens stay straight, the cabinets stay straight, the range hood stays straight. In real life, go like this. There's a slight drop happening as well. A slight drop. All right, let's do the next one. Remember, there's 13. Now this one is absolutely the hardest one to do. So this would be a PTF orbit. You're on the 50 millimeter. You're literally above it like this, and you're wrapping around like that and kind of going up. Very challenging because you're keeping that perfectly centered. So the reason that this looks so euphoric is because look at how many dimensions changed. All the foreground, all the background. Your eyes are looking at the sink, but you have the stovetop, you have the background. We're at 1.4 on this shot. People watch videos and they're like mind blown at how people are creating the videos, but they're using only 13 shots. Let's go to the next one. So this is a top-down detail. It's a 50 millimeter, like that. You're pulling back, pointing up as we go. The foreground at the very end is what makes it look special. It takes a lot of attention to get this right, but it makes a huge difference in your videos. That's it. These are the 13 shots.